Hello and welcome back to the Sports Centre YouTube channel. Now before we get into the video, have you subscribed to the channel? If not, why not? Get over to the homepage, hit that subscribe button right now. Right, without further ado, let's get into it. So the football's done this season. We've got the FIFA Club World Cup coming up, but really who's asked? I'm not, maybe you are. I don't know, it's not really catching my imagination. So, we'll look to stuff like the transfer market, big news, big money spendings going on. I reckon this summer will be a really good summer in terms of people and clubs splashing the cash, really, to be fair. And as we all know, clubs that like to splash the cash these days normally come from Saudi Arabia. With that being said, the latest player to be linked to a move to Saudi Arabia is the Man United skipper, Bruno Fernandes. Now, I've been thinking about this one quite a little bit. I've been listening to stuff on TalkSport, I've been listening to stuff in social media. Now, listen, don't get me wrong, for how much I dislike this guy in terms of some of his personality on the field. I don't know the guy off the field. He might be a really nice guy. I'm sure he is. But on the field, he comes across like a bit of a knobhead. I think we can all agree, probably most people that aren't Man United fans don't really like him, think he's a bit of a dick. However, he's a good player. He's a really, really good player. And I dare say that without him this season, Man United would be fucked. They would be scrapping for relegation if Bruno Fernandes hadn't have been playing for them. I say this season, the season just gone by, the season that's just finished. So the interest is there from other clubs. You know, Man United are in a bit of a shit state at the moment. He's their best player. What happens? You know, clubs come in and try and snatch your best players off the clubs that are performing, or the lower league clubs. And Man United right now are not performing. They're in the lower level of the Premier League. You know, the table's there for us all to see. So therefore, clubs will come and cherry pick or try and cherry pick the best players, and they ain't got that many. So Bruno Fernandes is one of them. He's decided, apparently, is led to believe, as of today, that he's not interested in going to Saudi. He's not interested in this big payday of potentially rumoured to be £700,000 a week. Ridiculous money, but that's what you get for being the best player that go out in Saudi. You get ridiculous money, and that's why some of these big players tend to go out there for the payday, for the cash, for the wonga. Can't blame them. But Bruno Fernandes, fair play to him, credit to him, apparently has said, no, I don't want to do it. I'm staying at Old Trafford. I'm staying at Man United. And I'm part of Ruben Amorim's project. Fair dues. Players decided that. So we've been told. But from the club's point of view, would it have been smart to sell Bruno Fernandes? So the rumours are that it was, you know, you get all sorts of figures thrown out there, but if what we're reading is true, the figures were circa to 80 million to 100 million, I don't know, pounds, euros, whatever fucking currency you want to use. It was big bucks. You was talking in that 80 to 100 million bracket. The transfer was led to believe. That's a hell of a chunk of money, given that Man United are in European football next season, so they're not getting any revenue at all from the Conference League, the Europa League, or the Champions League. They're not getting anything along those lines in. I dare say that I'm sure their season ticket holders will continue to renew their tickets because Man United, they're a big draw. But the money that Man United used to draw in once upon a time, the revenue, the income stream, it's not there for what it used to be. Now, I always like to put a little bit of meat on the bones when I look at this stuff and play a little bit of David Advocate. So, on one side of the coin, it's great. Man United are keeping their best asset on the field in Bruno Fernandes. He wants to play for them. Brilliant. But on the other side of the coin, you've got circa to 80 to 100 million pounds there, potentially to invest in other players, in other areas on the pitch. And I always like to put an example to stuff and think about it. And I think about my club, for instance, Liverpool. God, I can't remember how many years ago now, but we sold our best player once upon a time in Philip Coutinho. He was quality, but ultimately he was starting to cause a little bit of an issue. He had these so-called back injuries coming up every now and again, but then he'd go off and play for Brazil. And ultimately, he just wanted out of the club, and we just went, right, fair enough, you want out. We want the biggest bucks for you. And we identified with that, I think it was something around about £140 million. We were like, right, we can go and invest that back into other areas of the pitch. We bought Alisson, we bought Van Dijk, and proof is in the pudding that we got 2 world-class players by selling... Would you class it what's world-class talent, maybe? I mean, Philip Coutinho has gone on to do not a lot since he left Liverpool. So that brings me back to Bruno Fernandes. Would Man United have been better off selling him? And here's my reason why. Because at the moment, Amorim, he's got a structure to the team. He plays... whether you want to call it a back 3 with wing backs or a back 5, that's his system, that's what he plays. He's adamant and he's said that this is how I'm playing, and I will basically hang my hat on this system until the day that I'm out this door. He's come out and he's said this, so for him to potentially change this now would make him look a little bit stupid. But where does Bruno Fernandes fit into that system? Because he's not a holding midfielder. He's too good to play there. He's a goal threat. He chips in with goals. He's not a false 9. He's not one of the wide attackers. So where does he fit into that system? Does he fit into it? Man United fans, I don't watch him as closely as you probably will, so let me know. Does Bruno Fernandes fit into this system? Because the last game that I saw Bruno Fernandes play was the Europa League final against Tottenham. And he never really, he just seems to be here, there and everywhere, but he's never nailed down in a position. And does that become a detriment to the team? Because... say, for instance, if you're a defensive midfielder, at number 6, I think Man United play with 2 holders in there. You want to know where your 8s and 10s are, because ultimately they're your next pass to get you up the field. You never know where Bruno Fernandes is. Never. He could be on the right side, he could be on the left side, he could be, playing as a second striker, if you like. He's everywhere. There's pros and cons to this, because his work rate is brilliant, but ultimately, you need a bit of structure to the team. And does he allow you to play with that structure? Of, like I said, Ruben Amorim, he clearly has a structure that he wants to play with. He's not got the players to be able to do that at the moment. So with that money that potentially Man United could have recouped from Saudi Arabia to get Bruno Fernandes, could he or would they have been better off putting that money back in to the team to be able to, provide Amorim with the tools, with the ammunition to be able to go again next season? Because that team needs a lot of work doing it to it. Not just 100 million, probably that and some more again. Probably maybe another 100 million. I reckon Man United are at least 5 or 6 players off even potentially competing for Europa League. Never mind, just getting into the Champions League or anything like that. They're miles off that. So, I don't know personally. I think Man United may have been better off considering this a little bit more. I know that he's decided that he wants to stay, and that's great. But is it to the detriment of the team if he stays and basically the team he's built around him? I don't think Man United can rely on him personally. He's getting to, is he 31-year-old now? I don't know. Question marks for me personally. But listen, Man United fans, let me know in the comments below what you think. Would Old Trafford, would the Glazers, would Ineos have been better off considering selling Bruno Fernandes? You let me know in the comments below. I've given my thoughts. Let me know yours. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you've not done already. And I'll catch you in a bit.